Okay, so for those of you who have been on these before, there's not a lot of narration because I collect camp shoulder patches, but I don't know a lot about a lot of the camps. Actually, most of you know, or some of you know more about the camps than I do, certainly the camps in your areas. But anyway, this is number 5, and we're going to cover these states: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, including DC, Delaware, West Virginia, and Virginia. And we're going to start with Pennsylvania. So this is Allegheny. Usually I go alphabetically by council name. One of the things that I've noticed over putting these things together is you're going to see the same camps come up over and over again. Like Heritage Reservation, we're going to see that in 3 different councils as we go through this: Greater Pittsburgh and then Laurel Highlands. And you'll see as we go along. So this is Hillman Reservation, Camp Independence, and Heritage Reservation, all with Allegheny trails. So this is Bucks County, and interesting on this camp. So I've always called this camp Camp Okanagan. Several years ago, 15 years ago, actually now I think, or maybe a little less than that. Anyway, the long and short of it is, I was at NLS at Camp Alpine in New Jersey, and we bunked in with a bunch of kids from Bucks County, and that is absolutely not how you say that. Okanagan. I don't remember how you do say it, but I know that's wrong. So anybody who does know how to say that, Okanagan. Okay, thank you. So yeah, because I mentioned that there was a couple of kids, and they looked at me like, I just arrived from the third world. And great kids though. And here's some more Okanagan. And then Chief Corn Planter, also Pennsylvania, Camp Olmsted. So this is Columbia-Montour Council, Camp Levine. There's a couple of them. They both have this gateway looks pretty nice, stone gateway with a wooden sign. And then Cradle of Liberty. This is where the OA began, Treasure Island. They have several camps, but definitely started with Treasure Island because that's where the OA started, and the OA is big in my life. And as you can see, these are all the same. They're just different border colors. And then this is Resica Falls. Again, same design. Still in Resica Falls. Actually, I really like this. I got lucky with these. It hadn't been that long. I probably started putting this together before I even had these two, but I really like these two a lot. I like this design. Those are nice looking CSPs. There we go. There's Rod Musser. I like this next one, Musser Madness. Same design as the other two, but I like that. It's catchy. I have a lot of favorites. So this is French Creek, Custologa Town. This is a fairly recent addition as well. First one from this council and this camp, so I was pretty happy to get that. It's also a wood badge. So I have several actually that are wood badges, and that's where the camps where they're held. All right, Greater Pittsburgh. Here's the Heritage Reservation again. Greater Pittsburgh has several camps as well. See, these 3 are all the same design, just a different color. This is interesting. These bottom 2 are in error because this is Heritage Reservation. And when they first got them, whoever made the patches made them Heritage Scout Reservation. And if you look at the logo, it's HR, it's not HSR. So anyway, these 2 are in error, and then they remade them correctly.
I'm part of that council, and it is called Heritage Scout Reservation at times.
Oh, okay. The person I got these from, that's what they told me, was that these were in error, and that's why they made them again. But again, thank you for putting that in, because like I say, those of you from this area would know this stuff better than me. Camp Twin Echo, Camp Independence again. I like the always like the Camp Twin Echo logo. I've seen a lot of patches with just that on it. Arrowhead patches. Camp Cayasuta, Camp Freedom, and Camp Liberty.
They're part of Heritage Scout Reservation.
Oh,
And Camp Cayasuta is downtown Pittsburgh.
all right. Hawk Mountain, Camp Meade. And then Geneva Valley, Seven Mountains. I like the logo. This bottom left one here, there's a logo. It doesn't have the camp name, but it has the logo. Same with this one over here. It's Seven Mountain Scout Camp. I've a few of these ones. I have some from California that also are for Klondike Derbies, but they have the camp name on them. I like those. All right, Keystone Area Council, Hidden Valley. Couple of these just have the HV on it, but for my collection that counts. The bottom two are numbered. All right, Laurel Highlands, Camp Seth Mac. So to save some space and time here, there's a lot of them that I have where I have one, all the same design. I made the smaller ones just so I didn't have to have page after page of the same thing. There's Heritage Reservation still again. Camp Twin Echo again, and Camp Cayasuta. I like this bottom left one. It's a simple design, but I think it's really nice. All right, Camp Potomac, Camp Baker, and Camp Anawana. All right, Mincy Trails. This is going to be a good one. They every year they put out a pretty interesting design for their settlers camp at Trexler Scout Reservation. So this is there are two camps. Well, there's actually three. I take that back. There's two. Some of the Trexlers don't actually say it's settlers camp, but most of them do. And Akela Land is their cub camp. So this is the we'll start with Akela Land. More Akela Land. Great designs on these. Wait till you get into some of the later the settlers camp ones. They're some of the nicest designs anywhere on these Mincy Trails. More Akela Land. All right, so settlers camp. This is an interesting set because, again, when I got these, I was told these were an error. So remember the picture here, the hands sticking out of the ground, the zombie hands. This was an error. When you see what they were supposed to get, I don't know how they got these when they were supposed to get something else. But anyway, most of these have a camp, a camper, a leader. You can see it here, and then over here, staff. So the next several years of worth of these all have that same 3 items every year. And I don't have them all. So, like for example, I only have 1 of these and 2 of these. So if anybody has any I'm missing. These are hard to see. I mean, when they're in your hand, they're actually nice, but they don't scan well. But I don't know if you can see on the left here, it says staff on this one, and it says camp leader on this one, and this one here just has the dates. So this is another one, 2004. So they're all the same design, just, staff, leader, and camper. So for this one, I don't have the leader. So these 2 years, I have all 3 for each, but you can't read them because they're all ghosted, so I didn't bother putting up all 3. And I have all 3 for this one, but only 1 for 2009, so still looking. So I didn't think I have any for 2010, apparently. Nope. So this year they did the war between the states, and they have the 3 leader, camper, leader, and staff, but they have gray border and blue border, 3 of each. I like these. These are good size too. They're a little bit bigger than a normal CSP. I like these two, the Viking ships. It's a really cool one. So this is what they were after when they got those hands. I don't know why they didn't just keep the hands. I actually like the hands better, but this is what they ended up with. But they ended up with both, and obviously they probably had a complete set of both because there's enough for me to grab a pair of both. If they only made a few of the other ones and sent them back, I probably wouldn't have got them. Not really sure what's going on here with the desolate. Looks like a post-fire. 18. This is really cool. This is supposed to be the pixels from a video game. I like the leader one. Kind of has that zombie look to him. These are pretty good size too. Again, they're a little bigger than a normal CSP. And then these, so these are Trexler Scout Reservation or Camp Trexler, and they also have Camp Mincy. So these don't fall under the Settlers Camp banner. Then we go on to Moraine Trails. They have a couple of camps. Camp Bacoco and Camp Agawam is coming up next. This is nice where they did the STEM programs. This one's interesting here. I still don't know exactly. I'm not exactly sure what this Wizard Safari is. I did a little research, and there is a Wizard Ranch BSA camp, and I have been told by some people that I've gotten these patches from that this Wizard Safari is like a week of Cub camp or something like that, or a Cub event. So I still don't know for sure whether or not these belong in a Cub camp collection or not. But I have them from New Birth of Freedom, and I also have them from another council further on, York Adams. This bottom one is really, this picture doesn't do it justice. This is a beautiful CSP. It's a little bigger, it's a little wider than a normal CSP, but it's really, colors really look nice. Camp Akahala. Oh, sorry if I butchered that. These are nice patches, these camp projects patches. I don't have them all. I know there's several others. we're back to Camp Seth Mack. He was around, or this camp was around earlier. I like this climbing wall one. We have a climbing wall at my camp too, so this is pretty cool. All right, Rustica Falls from Valley Forge Council. And then Akanikin, is that correct? Did I say that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. From now it's from Washington Crossing Council. And this is a nice looking patch. I really like this patch. I like all three of these actually. Sometimes the pictures don't do them justice. So look at these patches in your hand. They're very attractive. All right, here's Wizard Safari again from York Adams. I actually bought these when I took my troop down to Gettysburg, and I remember we did a service project there. We did some land clearing, chopping down of small trees and stuff like that on a Little Round Top, and then me and a couple of the scouts drove into town to get the Lincoln Trails, I think it is, the trail patches and all that stuff. And there was a bank next door. This was in July, and it was 103 degrees that day. I mean, I can't imagine those guys. It was around the same time of year that the battle actually happened, and those guys were all wearing wool suits. So, I mean, brutal. And this is Camp Tuckahoe, by the way. All right, we're going on to New Jersey now. And Lenape Scout Reservation. And Pine Tree is as I understand it, is an education center within in the camp. Again, I talked to somebody at a traderie, and they gave me more information on that. And then this is Halgus Reservation. And Catatney Mountain. I like this patch a lot. This patch, again, is one of those patches that looks so much better in your hand than it does on screen. And then Roosevelt Scout Reservation. There's a little FOS set. Bottom ones aren't the best looking, but I do like the top one. I like these a lot too. These things really, these look good, especially in hand. So these are interesting. These are actually kind of 3D, like this. They made the patch and they added on. There's a texture. You can feel the fort here and some of the other stuff on some of these. On some of these patches in Garden State. This is Yards Creek. I probably scanned this thing 4 times over the years. This background color, it's got a little shimmer to it, and the scanner I have now is the first one that actually makes this thing looks like it really looks. Some of the other ones were bizarre. Gotta have a good scanner. This is Joseph A. Sita Scout Reservation. Sita. All right, Northern New Jersey, Camp Terrell. I like these camps that change the design every year, kind of a different camp theme and stuff like that. And this is Camp Navibosco. this 2007 is, this dates back to when I first started collecting camp shoulder patches, one of the patches I've had the longest. 2007 is probably when I started collecting these, right around then. All right, this is a set of all their camps that they put out last year or the year before, just a couple years ago, I think. And I was lucky enough to trade for this. This is interesting. This isn't even a CSP, it's a piece, it's a metal. I'm not sure what it was made for, but it's the same size and shape as a CSP. And I'm not aware of a Camp Terrell actual cloth CSP from Passaic Valley. So this is one of a kind for me. All right, Patriots Path, Sabatis Adventure Camp. And Sabatis comes up again. Might be in my next presentation. Let's see. Winnebago Scout Reservation. Mount Alamuchi. Some of these things definitely challenge your pronunciation. All right, Kittatinny Mountain Scout Reservation again, a different one. Obviously, Thomas A. Edison Council. All right, I don't have anything from Delaware, so I wanted to cover Delaware. So consider Delaware covered. This is one of my favorite ones here, this Pirates of Broad Creek. Broad Creek Memorial Scout Reservation in Baltimore area. So Mason-Dixon, they put out a lot, but a lot of them are the same, as you can see. They put out 4 of this kind for this year. They put 3 of these and 2 of these and maybe more of these. We just don't have them. I'd be surprised if they didn't put out more border colors than the 2 I have for Camp Sinaquippi. All right, so this is a National Capital Area, and they put out quite a few. Some of them I don't know the meaning of, and we'll get to those in a minute. Maybe some of you have some clue. But this is for Goshen Scout Camps, Scout Reservation. And again, they put out a lot of them with the same basic design. So these, I'm not sure I understand what the meaning of these is. I mean, obviously I can tell the difference. There are also other color borders. There's a pink border with the blue, and there's an orange border they made very, very few of. I talked to somebody in that council who has them all, and he says, though, with the orange border, I mean, they made less than 25 of each.
Hey, my understanding is the camps or inside Goshen is a different representative of the bars.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sean. Okay, so this is Camp William B. Snyder. This is their Cub World. And all these are nice. The next slide has my these things really pop when they're in your hand. This gold does, I mean, this is all gold Mylar, and it doesn't pop out quite as much on screen as it does in your hand. But my favorite camp, Cub World camp for William Snyder are these 2. I like these 2 a lot. You're gonna make Cub Scout patches, make them fun. All right, this is they put out a series a couple years ago, and they're all basically the same. You know, even though the different designs, they kind of all look the same in your hand. This is in the U.S. Virgin Islands, which became part of National Capital Area along with direct service a few years back. And so these are, the reason I have these here is you know, a lot of councils, you know, make Philmont patches for a trek, and I'm not going to collect every one of those, but I did kind of want to have a representation for each of the high adventure bases. And Capital Area, National Capital Area, put out these not Trek related, just generic, for the 4 camps or high adventure bases. So I was really glad when they did this. That way I could have in my collection without having to have, 1,000 side collections of film art. A little too fast. Buckskin. This is West Virginia. Obviously all the same. Limited edition. Probably only 10,000 made of each. This is oversized, and this is a nice looking patch here. Again, so many of them don't pop out at you on the screen, but they really do when they're in your hand. And this was for a conclave, but they hosted it at Buckskin Scout Reservation, so the name of the camp is on the patch. All right, this is something that a lot of camps do for different reasons. Or not camps, but councils. Not necessarily for their camps, but for all kinds of reasons. They have the 4 seasons. This is a good looking set. It really is. The summer one is really just gorgeous. Or spring, maybe. All right. Tri-state area, Camp Arrowhead. These are jamboree patches, so as long as they have the camp name, that's fine with me. These are all tri-state Camp Arrowhead. More Camp Arrowhead. All right, Blue Ridge Mountains. They got a couple camps here, Atari and Powhatan. Sometimes it's a little disappointing where they just slap out a quick, change the name on here, and they could have, made a whole new design for the other camp. But this is just Powhatan. This here is the Camp Powhatan CP. It's also the Blue Ridge Mountain 85th anniversary of the council, and it's a camp anniversary as well. This is High Knoll Trail Camp, Blue Ridge Scout Reservation, Blue Ridge Mountains Council. All right, Colonial, Virginia. We're getting into Rob's area now. I love the name of this camp, Chickahominy. That's a cool name. And then this is Bayport Scout Reservation. So Camp T. Brady Saunders. I also have another council. It might be Robert E. Lee Council. More Heart of Virginia. This is their Cub Camp. Cub Adventure Camp. And some of these things don't actually say the Cub Adventure Camp on them, but they, again, I'm told by people I traded with that they were themes of that year. Here we go. Yeah, Robert E. Lee, Camp T. Brady Saunders. And again, the Cub and Weebles Adventure Camp. The Kingdom of Goochland. You gotta love that. Wonder if Gooch was the camp director. All right, Camp Rockin' On. This is interesting because last year for NOAC in Tennessee, my council's contingent, I was on staff, so I drove down with a friend, but our contingent drove down and they stayed on the way down at Camp Rockin' On. And then they also stayed at, I believe, Camp Pellissippi. Stonewall Jackson area. Again, Camp Shenandoah. All right, Tidewater, Pipsico, Scout Reservation. I like the designs on these. Camp Lyons. You know, I saw this on eBay once and I didn't get it because I thought Camp Lions was a group within camp. But then somebody I traded with said that it was actually a base camp of some kind. So, I mean, it's a trade for it rather than buy it, which was even nicer. And again, this is Virginia Headwaters Council, back to Camp Shenandoah. All right, that's the end of this one. We have just one more presentation. Larry will be able to tell us later when that is. Thank you for your time.